Do you feel like you're being told lies by the real estate industry? Are you sick and tired of real estate agents preaching ethics, but then not being willing to tell you the truth about how they really feel about the real estate market? Welcome to the Good News Real Estate channel, where we talk about real, honest, data-driven events here in Boise and beyond. Today in this video, we're going to talk about the top things that people in the industry are saying to try to get you to move. I understand you're frustrated when you hear all these things that do not seem right. And today we're going to debunk some of the things the industry is trying to tell people to get them off the sidelines and buy real estate now. According to this article written by Inman, 37% of real estate agents couldn't make their monthly rent payment in October. They may not be preaching to you ethics, but they are to me. A lot of them are saying that I'm causing the real estate market correction here in the Boise Valley, but I'm just a little guy. I can't do that. While I'm on it, if you could like and subscribe this video, it will help us out a lot, as we have a lot of agents not liking us, exposing the truth about the current state of the Boise real estate market. Okay, so one of the biggest things that we're hearing right now is buy now, refinance later. And we understand why they're saying that. I mean, even looking at this chart right here, it shows that after every recession, interest rates drop, right? So we see in 1980s, interest rates dropped. Back here in the 90s, interest rates started dropping. Here in the 2000.com bubble, interest rates dropped. 2008 recession, interest rates started dropping. So we totally understand buy now, we're gonna refinance later. Here is the thing that you have to be mindful of. This year, May of 2022, that was the highest price point in our market, and it's been continually declining month over month over month over month. If you bought in May, you wouldn't be able to refinance right now if you put 3% down or you did 100% financing that Idaho Housing offers. It is very risky to buy now and expect to refinance in a year. Article just came out by Black Knight saying that 25% of people who bought with the FHA loan are upside down on their mortgages. 80% of those who bought in 2022 have less than 10% equity in their homes. And so if the market continues the way that it's going, refinancing may not be an option when we hit the recession and people have lost their jobs. And if the housing market continues to decline, you might not have a chance to refinance. Risky, and you just have to be careful. Keep in mind, before 2008, people were buying now with the mindset of I will refinance later. But then 2008 hit, that home prices started dropping and people could not refinance out of their high interest rate mortgage or their ARM adjustable rate mortgage. So they got stuck. You definitely cannot use the buy now, refinance later as the reason to get into the market now. That is something that can hurt you in the long run. People often overlook is when you refinance a house, it costs money to refinance. And so if you don't have that money in your pocket, you have to add it onto the loan. But if you don't have equity in your house, you can't add it onto your loan. Now, there is one company out there, a lender that we work with, it's doing a free refinance if interest rates drop within the 5 years. Most lenders will charge you for that refinance. Another thing that I hear agents saying is you can't make lowball offers in today's market. Well, I got a newsflash for you. Just in this last month, we've gotten a handful of our clients that are either relocating here or buying that currently live here. They're 15% under the last listed sales price. What does that look like? So let's say somebody has their house listed at $450,000. What that means is our clients got a house locked in at $387,000. So 15, 14, 13% under the last listed price is what some of our clients have been able to capture in today's market. Even with throwing in lowball offers, right now sellers are offering a lot of money up front to help you buy down your interest rate. For instance, builders right now, some are offering $30,000. Others are offering, big national ones are offering 2% buy down. So they're going to buy down your interest rate 2% just to move their inventory. Making a lowball offer, that's more real than you know it. So another thing that I hear constantly is low inventory. We have low inventory. Low inventory compared to what, right? Low inventory compared to 2006? Well, sure, except for in Nampa right now, new construction, it has the same height of inventory as it did back in 2008. So when I hear people say there's low inventory, it's not really low inventory. According to these charts by Boise Regional Realtors, some areas in our market have the same amount of inventory as we did in 2015. Keep in mind, I was selling real estate in 2015. Yes, I know it's hard to believe. You probably thought I was in high school 7 years ago, but no, I was out of high school. I've been selling real estate for more than 6 years. So yes, yeah, I'm not I'm not just this high school kid making YouTube videos, okay? So yes, I've been selling real estate for a handful of years now. And back in 2015, what we saw with our clients is you weren't really seeing bidding wars. Houses were sitting on the market for a little bit longer. We were just kind of getting ready for the market to take off. But back in 2015, we were talking about a completely different market. I just want to share, there are reasons for buyers to get off the sidelines and buy now. I'm not overlooking that by any means. I've bought and sold and developed a dozen or so properties over my career. And I see things that you got to be cautious about. And so that is why I want to share these things with you, because I want you guys to know the truth and what's really going on, and looking at it, not just from a real estate agent side, but maybe from also an investor side of things. The other thing in the Boise market, and I think nationwide, but specifically in the Boise market, November and December, we normally have the lowest amount of inventory on our market during that year. But right now we have the highest inventory we've had in the last 5 to 7 years in November and December. And with demand dropping substantially, and we have this inventory, and if this inventory sits or not as much of it moves, and then spring comes, the spring rush of getting your house on the market, the people who took it off for the holidays now are putting it on, and that inventory didn't move, well, then we're going to have even more and more. Real estate is not a sharp up, sharp down type thing. It goes in waves. And as the wave of inventory increases and the buyer demand decreases, then we're going to see more and more inventory as the time comes. So another thing that you often hear is interest rates are at historic lows. And may that be true? Yes. If we go all the way back to the 80s, that is true. If we go back beyond the 80s, that's true. But who cares? Right now, interest rates are at the historic highs. If we only go back to the 2000s, the average house in America was worth $100,000. Now the average home is worth over $300,000. So that's 3 times what it was back in the early 2000s. And our median household income has only increased 6% from 2000 to 2022. Although historically over a long period of time, interest rates are at historic lows. If we only look at from the 2000s to now, it's actually at the historic highs. The other thing that I hear a lot is the market is just normalizing. But the problem with that is the developments are slowing down. Why are the developments slowing down? Because construction's slowing down. I have in my family, my dad runs an excavation. He owns and operates an excavation company. My brother's a plumber, and they're even talking about how the construction world is slowing down. Not only is the construction world slowing down, but builders are pulling back on their permits, and we have this looming recession. Some believe that we're in a recession. Some believe we're not in a recession yet. What do you think? Are we in a recession? Leave it in the comments below. We have this looming recession going on. So as these home prices are falling, and we have all these other factors going on, and remember, Boise, one of the big employers of the Boise market is new construction. Yes, we have Micron. Yes, Facebook is coming to our town. Yes, we have Amazon, but a big employer is the new construction. And if that starts slowing down, then our job market is going to be slowing down. Our growth is going to be slowing down. That can really affect the area. And I don't believe that this is just a normalizing, but there's something bigger coming.